Hiromaka hirasea no hiagrasende. Hiromera duya no iandi igrasendan. Gai a hiagrasendon. Haya no yan. Eya no iane ehan. Hirasimergrasandan. Goya di hiagrasendon. Hirasibegrasandan. Hiromera sanuya no yande e. Hirasibegrasende.
Welcome, old friends and new, to Spiritual Conversations with Callah and the Ancients, divine spiritual beings seconded to Earth to assist in the evolution of humanity. Embark with us on a journey of self-discovery that will spark within thought-provoking concepts and truths. My name is Dallas Beckett, friend, team member and facilitator for this time with Callah and the Ancients. Here with me today is the channel for Callah and the Ancients and spiritual writer Kim, and divine spiritual channel, Scribe, artist, seer and celestial empathic healer, Aimee. Welcome, team. In today's program, I believe we're going to be discussing the energy makeup of the human being. So, Kim, I'll start with you. How do Callah and the Ancients work with energy and also the energy body?
Okay. We work with them with energy. How's that?
Even if you can't see it.
Actually, you can feel it sometimes, and I can feel the energy channeling through me when I channel. Or some
What sort of
it,
sensation is that, just by the way? What sort of sensation is it?
Interesting.
Tingling, hot, cold?
Well, I'll give you an example. Sometimes I'm just in the zone and I'm not even aware. Well, I remember one night when I was working on some very dark energies. I wasn't globally. And I was in my office at my home. And so I must have been working for about half an hour. And then I went out into my hall, and of course it was late at night. And it was freezing, absolutely freezing, the rest of the house. Then I stepped back into the office and it was like a sauna.
Oh, wow.
And I hadn't actually noticed at the time. And there was no heater or anything on. But that's how much energy was being generated through the channels. So when I channel, there is a lot going on. And some of it we're not even on a human conscious level aware of. But there is a lot going on. The human being is not what appears in the mirror. There's so much more. You know, that's just the outer shell. When we look at a person's systems, we have to look at the whole of their systems. So we look at things like to check to see if there's any soul impaction traumas, soul traumas. We look at the cellular DNA to see what's going on there at the time. We look for pain bodies because they, if they're in a person's energy, are very creative and can bring on more pain. We look at the intuitive system. We look at the interdimensional system, the interdimensional cells, because there's only the part that you see in the mirror is just an aspect of you. It's not the whole of you. There's other parts of you in other dimensions. We look at your divine blueprint. We look at your soul lineages. Now, we talk about soul lineages a lot because they have such an impact on a person and the way they navigate their life. There is a lot of subtle energies and energetic downloads that come down the soul lineage lines that influence a person. Like you could have two people in the same family. You could even have on some occasions twins. Now, if they had different soul lineages, they would have totally different responses to different experiences in their lives. Totally different. And if one child was more aligned to one parent rather than both of them, or say they were really close to their father but not their mother, then you would look at the soul lineages and say, oh yeah, right, okay, the father shares a soul lineage with the child, but the mother doesn't. So the soul lineages have a really, really big impact on a person and how they navigate their life and how they see their world, really. And if a soul lineage, for some reason, soul lineages have been totally disconnected from a person, then they're going to feel really lost and like they don't belong. They won't have a sense of belonging. And they will find it hard to connect with others quite often on a deeper level. When you connect with a soul lineage, or soul lineages also hold the soul family, the soul mates, People always talk about strong soulmate connections and everything. That's because that being or that soul is on their soul lineage line, and they probably have quite a few incarnations with them. But they've also got a lot of other soulmates on that line as well, whether they be brother, sister, whether it's an intimate relationship, it's still on that soul lineage line. And that's why they have such a strong connection to them. So we always check out the soul lineages as well. And then we look at the higher self. And the higher self is different for every incarnation. It's not the same.
Well, that's interesting because most people wouldn't know that.
No, it's like a program. It's like it's geared specifically, okay, this being is going to be doing this in this lifetime and everything else, so we need this information. And this being is going to split off and have a piece of themselves in this dimension and this dimension. So that needs to be covered as well. But when they're gone, when they pass on and to be reborn or otherwise, their higher self changes. Okay, so then they have the spiritual entourage. Now that's quite important too, and that also your guides are, and that we look at your guides too and your connection to the guides and make sure that you are connected to them. So there's all sorts of things that can occur in those energies. Then we look at your chakras and we look at your gift layer, because everybody has a gift layer. We also look at the field of potentials, of what potentials are looking like and whether they're going to manifest or whether they've been disrupted or whether the system has been corrupted in some other way. And then if there's not a lot of potentials there, Callah and the Ancients will expand them and work with them in that way. They also look at there's a library in that field of potentials, so they also have to look at that. And believe it or not, you have a personality system.
I believe that.
So we look at that as well. Then you've got connections to Mother Gaia and Father Gaia, and you've got connections to the Galactic Mother and Galactic Father, so they need to be looked at as well. Look at past lives, what past lives have surfaced and that are active and influencing what's going on in that person's life, really. And the interesting thing about past lives is that it's the energy thing again. Everything exists in the now. So your past, your present, your future all exists in this moment. So they can influence things that have happened way back, can influence what's going on now, because the energy in your makeup goes out, resonates out into the universe, and then it draws to it like vibrations. So it becomes creative, especially in this creative energy of the earth that we're in now. So we look at the mental and emotional aspects, and that again is a system. We look at the manifestation field, and we look to see if it's connected properly to the world manifestation field. Because sometimes people might find that it doesn't matter what they do, it's not actually in how much they give intent for it or how many affirmations they do, it still doesn't manifest, and it's because there's a disconnection going on. Okay, or that the world manifestation field that they're connected into is full of a lot of darker stuff and lower vibrations that need to be cleared out, and some of these energies can come from all sorts of places. We look at the seed core of existence. We look, of course, as Aimee's already spoken in a previous session, about karma. Karma is a very interesting one, and Callah and the Ancients actually work with the karmic guardians extensively, and karma can be changed. People can also dump karma on you. In a relationship, karma is shared. So you want to check out the boyfriend and say, oh, I wonder what your karmic feels like before you get too tangled up. Okay. And vice versa, we won't be biased about this. We'll look at the girlfriend too. Okay, so then there's an emotional body and psychological profile. Of course, there's the auric fields, and then there's a vibratory field. So you have a mental and emotional auric field, by the way, as well. And auric fields, you know how you get the photographs of the auric field? They don't always stay static, they change. They're affected by the energy of the person and the space they're in at that particular time. You've got a catalytic layer, and then we always make sure people are shielded. But yeah, so you get an idea that there's a whole lot of systems, and then you get the odd system that Spirit says, oh no, this person has this system as well, or they have this gift. Gifts aren't necessarily just clairvoyant or claircognizance, or, they're the standard package. And as Aimee will tell you, that everyone has the seed of those. It's just how well they're developed. But you can have other gifts come in, and sometimes those gifts can be broken,
Or not online, as you
or
would
not
say.
online. Yeah, not online. Or sometimes the person, if we find if they've been coming to us for a while, they evolve to the extent that spirit will come in and say, okay, we're bringing in this gift for this person.
Okay. There's an enormous amount in there. Just imagine how people are going to feel if they come to Callah and the Ancients and get treated and go back out into the world, how fully functioning they will be. I can see that. Great transformation.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is that we look at those people who are committed to their soul evolvement and spiritual development, or who are energy sensitive and really have to do it, and they make great strides. Some of the people that we've had coming to us for a considerable time, there's something new for them all the time, and like peeling an onion, there's other layers until you get to that beautiful core essence of who they actually are, and the world just opens up for them. They just blossom.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Question for you, Aimee. So with Callah and the Ancients treatments, in the 7 years that I've been with the team, I've noticed huge strides. And I always think to myself, gosh, how much more are they going to give us to go out into the world with the gifts that you both have, actually? So can you just give us a little bit of a glimpse of the past to where you are now?
I think that as a spiritual healer, you have to continue evolving as the planet evolves and as humanity evolves. So we have evolved with our treatments and what we are able to do for people as we have gone through our own evolutionary growth and as the planet has evolved and grown, and what people are more ready for as well. So in the beginning, it was very much a journey of faith in that we really just trusted that when we opened our mouths and Mum channeled, that people were getting what they needed, and that is how we started. It was a journey of faith. The next thing that actually happened is that we started getting the information on the different systems, and we would need to go through those processes ourselves first. So there is nothing that we actually bring to a client that we have not thoroughly worked through in our own systems and in our own lives. So we really are the path forgers for the work that Spirit brings to us to share with the world. And we used to do a lot where we focused a lot on those systems that the channel Kim has just spoken about. And that really was the focus of a treatment. We focused on what needed cleared and what needed realigned and what needed balanced. All of that work gets done in a treatment now. However, we had a big shift in November of last year that meant that there were two aspects to it. One was that it actually started triggering in people their primal woundage and primal emotions. The other aspect of it is that it brought into being an even greater capacity for the individual to create. So it meant that no longer did Spirit want the focus to be on what needed to be cleared and what had been cleared, because it was too easy to recreate it if that was our focus. So they asked us not only to do the work for people and still continue clearing those systems, but they brought in two new bodies of work to work with people with, and that was the focus of what the soul and spirit wanted to create to help that person and that individual move forward on their spiritual journey and on their life path. And so that has been quite a massive change for us. And the other aspect that they brought in was actually that what they call work in progress for the evolving soul. And that is an acknowledgement that each individual now in this new earth energy is a great soul and has the capacity to contribute to their own journey forward. So it's those things Spirit brings to them that they are able to actually pick up and work with themselves. And it's also those things that are still in progress and still being worked with. And I'm absolutely certain that treatments will continue to evolve and change as the earth continues to evolve and change, and as humanity does as well.
Okay, so just a quick question. What sort of people come for treatments?
We have people from all walks of life, police, teachers, psychologists, builders, artists, creative people, other healers. We are definitely one of the healers other healers come to learn how to create balance in their own practices and things. There's several ways that people get to us. One is we are sometimes the last port of call for everybody. People have tried everything else and they suddenly go, actually, we're going to try these people because we've tried everything else and nothing else has actually helped us. And the amazing thing is that when people sit in front of us like that, 9 times out of 10, we know exactly how to help them, which is really awesome. The next thing is if people actually have star-based lineage or galactic connections and they're already on that journey and they just resonate with who we are and what we stand for and the energies that come with us. And the other thing is people who have heard about us, have had friends come to us and have very specific issues that they come with. It might be about relationships, family, health, spiritual, emotional. Maybe they're wanting help with actually being able to step into their soul purpose and their gifts. We have people that are regulars that come and they actually have a list every time they come of what they actually want worked on. And it's good because Spirit actually can work with the specifics.
Okay, so perhaps you can tell me after this last question on this, what can people expect from a treatment?
Movement forward and growth. That would be the holistic answer to that.
And I always say to people, don't come to Callah and the Ancients unless you want to be transformed and changed.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Callah and the Ancients are all about change. I do think sometimes people come with specific, especially if they're new, they come and they try it, dip their toes in the water, and sometimes we're not what they expect. And so they go away a bit dissatisfied because they want that magic wand to wave everything and they're just instantly fixed. And that's not how Spirit works because there's no soul growth in it. And Spirit's all about soul growth, okay? So we not so long ago had someone come and they came twice and then they'd had enough and they didn't come again. And I was a bit concerned about this person. So I asked Spirit about it and they came through and said, don't doubt the work of Callah and the Ancients. That person had 30 lifetimes of karma sitting on them, and now they only have 3. And I think if they had carried on, they would have got those 3 removed as well, and then they would have moved forward. So it's not always obvious to some people, especially if they're new to the world of energy.
However, I would say on the back of that, once they keep going through the process
definitely.
And doing the work, the transformation and changes happen without a doubt. I mean, I've witnessed it for myself and I've witnessed it for lots of people that we've had in our events and workshops and things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're always invested in the people that come and their welfare. So even when a person stops coming, like this particular person did, we go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what is it that we missed? And Spirit comes through, you didn't miss anything. Everything was done. The work that is done just doesn't cover this lifetime. It covers previous incarnations. And the work continues to benefit the soul even into incarnations coming up. People move through their soul journey and evolution and so much is lifted off them that sometimes they're not even aware of. But it's mind-blowing to think that some work is going to benefit in the future. I can remember way back, this wasn't a client, but it was a person whose energy kept coming in and being what we would call a rock treatment. They just stayed in our energy and wouldn't budge. And we said, well, why is this person coming to us? They're just, they've been such a problem to us. And they said, because this person in the next incarnation is going to have a daughter that is very important in the movement forward for the evolution of humanity. So we want you to do this work now, even though they will never know you.
Fascinating, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You've been listening today to Spiritual Conversations with Callah and the Ancients. Join us again in 2 weeks' time as we continue to explore all about the earth shifts and exactly what that means for the individuals. And don't forget, this and previous episodes of Spiritual Conversations with Callah and the Ancients are available as a podcast from freshfm.net, iTunes and the Access Internet radio app.